Sundance. All right, well, I'm in the very empty, very unfinished shop right now, but it's better than nothing, so I'm gonna use it. So last time on this car, I put the rods and pistons in it, and it sprung a huge oil leak, and it needs other stuff, so I'm gonna give it that stuff. It's snowing out there now. Doesn't matter. Yeah, this end decided to gush oil onto the turbo, creating a Cheech and Chong smoke screen. So hopefully this one doesn't do that. So for whatever reason, when I put this thing together initially, I decided to use an aluminum fitting on the 1,000,000-degree turbo. And it hasn't melted yet, but I'm still gonna swap it for a steel one. All right, that's fixed. I was looking into these cars, and as it turns out, over 500,000 of them were made, and there's none left. I mean, these things were everywhere. Chrysler was just pumping them out, but they're all tuna cans now. The last time I dropped a bolt in the timing area and couldn't find it, so I did the bolt that could destroy the engine at any moment mod, and the only place it could possibly be is behind that gear, so I'm gonna remove it. There it is, you little shit. All right, now I get to put the timing belt back. Great. Alright, well, that's that taken care of. Now, there's supposed to be a timing cover here that prevents that from happening in the first place, but this one's missing, so. I stole the timing cover from the Charger. So this mushroom filter I put on it last time is melting, so I need to build it a heat shield. Well, the air filter is significantly more difficult to get on and off now, but it won't melt anymore. Probably. Oh yeah, the alternator's crooked because Chrysler in their infinite wisdom decided to use rubber bushings which flex over time and make it crooked. And I actually got some polyurethane bushings which fixed it for a while, but they've also flexed and made it crooked, so at some point I need to figure out a solid mounting system and get rid of the bushings altogether. Not right now though. So I was running a little 40 micron fuel filter, and for fuel injection you're really supposed to have a 10 micron filter, so I removed it. And now it has no filter, which is extra not good. So I'm gonna put in a factory one. All right, so the fuel injectors won't clog with shit now. Good, I like that. And also these metal lines are not looking so great, but instead of replacing them, I'm just gonna spray them with some linoleum, you know, stop rusting, please. Chrysler like wrapping their lines in steel wire, and it's a good idea on paper because it keeps them protected, but it also makes them rust, so. So the next thing I'm gonna address is this awful paint. So when I painted this, I used that like 2-part can where you like activate it and then spray the clear coat. And every single time I've ever used that stuff, it's done this shit. It just flakes off. And this was an ideal scenario. You know, I just painted the color on It had flashed for 30 minutes, I followed the instructions perfectly, and yet still, it just flaked off. So that stuff is dead to me, I'm never using it again. This is also kind of why I like single stage paint more than base coat, clear coat, because like when single stage wears out, you know, it patinas, you can still polish it and make it look okay. But when base coat, clear coat wears out, you just get bad paint. Okay, so I sanded off the flaking clear coat and gave it a wax, and it looks moderately better. I'm not spending much time on this paint, so it just kind of got what it got. For whatever reason, the tune is really garbage now. It's running too lean. I don't understand. Well, all the sensors seem to be working. I don't really know why it's running lean, so I'm just gonna retune it, I guess. Shut up! 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 Okay, so the main drivability issue with this thing now is the gauges don't work. It has a fuel gauge, that's about it. So I got a Raspberry Pi, which is basically just a tiny computer and a screen. I'm gonna make a digital dash. So I need to move the fuel gauge from the middle over to the right because the screen will block it otherwise. And I could just display it with the computer, but I'd have to take the fuel sender out and figure out the resistances and make that work and wire it, and I just don't want to, so I'm gonna move the analog gauge over. So it turns out I actually can't move the fuel gauge to the other side because the pins are flipped, so it'd be upside down and that would kind of suck, so I wanted to use a proper 12 volt to 5 volt adapter, but I forgot to order one and I don't want to wait on one to get here, so I just soldered some wires to a barrel jack phone charger. That'll work too. Alright, well this is the sort of brains of it. It's basically just a Raspberry Pi and a phone charger, essentially. I wired it into the original board so it uses the OEM harness on the car, and I cut a hole in the lens so the screen can go through it and painted it black, so it should work. Yeah, sure. I've definitely created something. Alright, so when I turn this key on, the screen should turn on. Hey. I cut the wire for the fuel gauge and ran it down here because I'm gonna have to hook it up to the computer because I would very much like a fuel gauge. It's kind of nice. So with the bezel and everything back on, it doesn't look bad. It almost looks like I didn't throw it together in an afternoon, even though I did. That actually looks really cool. It's kind of weird seeing something that advanced in a 1990 Plymouth Sundance. It's like giving grandpa cybernetics or some shit. So for the fuel gauge, I need a 12 volt to 5 volt converter to power it to hook it up to the computer, but I don't have one. I'll have to wait on one. And the stock fuel gauge did have 5 volt power, but I kind of ripped all that stuff out of the cluster. And it'd probably be more reliable anyway if I didn't use the old Chrysler 5 volt stuff. So the computer has a 5 volt reference for the throttle position sensor, but I don't want to hook it up to the fuel gauge because I don't want the throttle position sensor fighting for power with it. It might cause weird problems. Oh yeah, that belt's still squeaking. Shut up. 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 Dude, it kills the engine when it loads. Why? That's an annoying flaw. So I gotta wait for it to boot before I start it every time. Well, it's working and it looks cool, so that's nice. Yeah, I can see everything. I got RPM, I got temperature, manifold temperature, boost pressure, AFR, basically everything I want to know. Yeah. This belt, dude, I want it to shut up so badly. You know what? I don't think it's the belt. I think it's the alternator bearing. Well, shit. So off camera, this dash has really been a pain in my ass. It's a Tuner Studio dash and it's a paid software. So I'm like, okay, so I bought it and you know, I put in the code and whatever. The issue I'm having is it won't stay registered. Every now and then it'll just lose it and go, you need to put in the code again. And it's like, why? That's really annoying. Something about it like not being connected to the internet, so it loses it. But like, I don't want my car connected to the internet all the time to keep my dash working. That's dumb. I guess it's because like, you know, we don't want people pirating our software. I mean, yeah, but I bought your software and I can't use it. Didn't ask, Virginia boy. But anyway, I wanted to test it out in this car first before I tried it in something else like the RX-7 or something, because like, you know, this car is kind of screwed up anyway. If it doesn't work, it's whatever. It's something good to experiment with. So if it continues to be annoying and I can't fix it, it ain't going in the RX-7. Anyway, the oil leak is fixed. You know, the dash is, you know, like I said, kind of working for now. We'll see. And, you know, yeah, it's kind of fun, sort of. Subscribe.